Josh Passer. O'Connell the steal. Here's Jones behind the back.
What's going on, dudes and dudettes? So Duke has gotten 2 wins this last week. First up on Saturday, it was against Georgia Tech. It was a lot closer than I'm pretty sure we're expecting. I think they were even down by 2 at halftime, but luckily they came out and ended up winning by, I believe, 15 plus as usual. But it's definitely something to look at because they are struggling against inferior opponents, and it's because they're only going through Zion Williamson and RJ Barrett pretty much. Even though you have guys like a Trey Jones and Cam Reddish on the team, it should be more of a team-oriented thing instead of going through those guys mainly, in my opinion, because it could be trouble come March, but we'll see how that goes, obviously. Then they got the win yesterday against Notre Dame. Pretty much coasted the whole entire time. We're up by almost 30 points at one point, and I think still ended up winning by 15 plus, so good on them. At least not getting a loss right there when they could have, especially on the road, but hopefully they can continue the win streak again. Then also a guy in the NBA who was a top 3 pick and has been struggling just to even stay on the team and get playing time, but he finally found it in New Orleans, especially since Anthony Davis has been injured with a finger. I've been out for a couple weeks still, but the past even 4 games, Jahlil Okafor has been balling for the Pelicans, and it's great to see because at least one team didn't give up on him, and luckily he's able to show what he can do, especially in a contract year, obviously. So he'll be able to get something next year because he does have a lot of talent there. You just need to be able to give him some playing time, which hopefully he can get. But it's just hard for a power forward / center to get that. But I mean, he looks like he's averaging 20 and 10, a double-double, so that can get you on any roster. And then the ex-Duke quarterback, Daniel Jones, he won the MVP of the Senior Bowl. That's cool for him, but I guess he did struggle a bit, apparently. So it's not like he's a 100% lock to be a top 10 pick, but he's definitely a first-round pick, I guess, to some people for the NFL draft. But of course, the guy who I didn't want to be really that good was Drew Lock out of Missouri, and of course, they're saying he could be picked as early as Denver, who's a top 10, or even whatever's after that, which kind of sucks because I really hoped he would fall to the Chargers later in the first round, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. And yes, USC has finally found their offensive coordinator / quarterback coach in Graham Harrell. He's been an offensive coordinator / the same position coach for North Texas the past couple years. And all he's done is make that team's offense be top 20 in the whole entire land of college football for the past 2 years. So obviously he knows what he's doing, especially with even less talented guys. And so it's a good hire. They're obviously looking to change the offense from a pro to go to that, because that's what they're going to do with Kingsbury anyways. So luckily they got a guy who's still young too. He's 33. Our most fondest memory of him was when he upset Texas when he was at Texas Tech with that great pass to Michael Crabtree, which was, of course, just awesome. Sorry, Texas people. I know we've had a good dialogue since the last video in the comments about Brew McCoy. You guys obviously won, but Texas fans have been pretty good so far on my comments, so I thank you guys for that. And then also, as far as recruiting news, they did pick up a junior college cornerback in Jalen Watson. That's pretty interesting. Wonder how much of his eligibility he still has left. And then they had another defensive back commit to them after the Polynesian Bowl in Kaluka Maluka. I hope I'm saying Kauluna Maluka. I think that's closer to what it was than the first time I said it. Sorry I'm butchering your name, buddy, but he did show out a lot in that game, especially with all those great Polynesian players and mix of all-star players in that bowl game. And I'm just glad we're able to get so far a commitment from him, but hopefully he will sign in a couple days, actually, about a week or so. Then also a couple more transfers, of course, especially at the wide receiver position. Trevon Sidney and Josh Imatorbhebhe. Sidney, they were always saying he was going to be like almost the next Odell Beckham Jr., just how athletic and great catching radius he had, but just never turned out. And he had redshirted, and then there was an injury as well. And then he tried to get some playing time, but didn't even get over like 100 yards receiving this past year. And Imatorbhebhe, same thing, just injuries and redshirted and just never been consistent while he's on the field. And so I'm not upset that they're both leaving, but it is kind of like, well, why did you guys leave if you knew they were going to get an offensive coordinator that's going to throw the ball almost every single time? I would be more worried about the running backs, but I'm pretty sure they're going to be more 50-50 or try to be 50-50 in that case. So it should be very interesting to see what happens with USC's offense. Then also the USC men's basketball team got a win barely against Arizona State, who's a pretty good team, pretty good coach, but Beanie Boatwright hit the game-winning three at the last final second, so that's always good to see. They're on I believe it's a 3-game winning streak, so hopefully it can continue, but yes, very interesting. So there's probably been more than enough Laker news than I wanted since their win against the Phoenix Suns the other day, which is a pretty convincing win. But then news came out, I believe it was Monday morning, or even Monday night, sometime around then, where Anthony Davis has officially requested a trade, or at least his agent has said that, from New Orleans Pelicans, or he just basically said too that he doesn't intend to sign an extension basically this offseason, so he's going to become a free agent after next season and then just leave anyway. So he's kind of giving them an opportunity to trade him and try to get something back for him instead of nothing. Obviously what Kevin Durant did at OKC, but I mean obviously hopefully he lands on Lakers. That's apparently his preferred destination, obviously being with the same agent as LeBron. But I mean it just definitely seems like they're going to have to give up so much for him. I think supposedly they're going to have to start with Alonzo Ball, Kyle Kuzma, Ivica Zubac, and a first-round pick. That's where it at least starts. But in my opinion, if you have a really high chance / opportunity to get him, and they're only going to be asking for Kuzma, even if you gave up like a Brandon Ingram or all these guys, it's just, I don't know. I think Kuzma and Hart are the only two guys you can't really lose, and giving up like a Ball, Ingram, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and sadly in Ivica Zubac, even though I'd rather give up like a Tyson Chandler or even a Moritz Wagner, the rookie, and then add at least 2 first-round picks, I think that's pretty solid what you can get. But apparently they obviously don't have to make the decision within the next 9 days to give Anthony Davis to the Lakers, and if they wait till this summer, then that's the only time the team that could probably land him easier is the Celtics, because they have an abundance of first-round picks. And I would only think that trade is fair if they're asking for even a Kuzma and the Lakers stuff, then they have to try to get a Jason Tatum. Because obviously I prefer Tatum not to be on the Celtics anyways, but if the Celtics were that desperate, then they should have to give up Tatum. In my opinion, if the Lakers are going to have to give up Kuzma, then there was news saying that if Klay Thompson would be interested in signing with the Lakers this offseason if they were to land Anthony Davis in a trade. So that's another positive sign there, at least bringing more talent to the Lakers in a quick span of time. Then LeBron has been fully cleared to practice, so that's pretty good. At least he's on his way back. And there's also news too that his people or his group were saying that they don't want Luke Walton there as a head coach and they're looking to fire him, or they put the word on that LeBron doesn't want him, but obviously LeBron says he has no problem with Luke Walton. I just hope they don't end up firing him, because there's really no one else you could get so far. I don't think Tyronn Lue is going to work if That's who LeBron likes. The only guy I think can work is Mark Jackson, and that's if he wants to leave the ESPN broadcasting booth. But yes, a lot of news, and then even Trey Burke, a point guard from New York, is available for a second round pick, who I think is really talented, will be really good on a team. But definitely a whole bunch of Laker news that so far I didn't want to really hear, especially about the lose Kuzma, but there you go. And to finish up with some Chargers news, so they did a most recent mock draft for, I forget, it's like walterfootball.com. So guys that I follow on Twitter, and they have their own website, and they do the mock drafts like kind of daily almost, but they're pretty good guys. They do their evaluating the talent pretty much. So I kind of like what they did for the Chargers, in my opinion, because they kind of filled up a bunch of spots that they're looking to fill up, and if you do it through the draft, then that'd be even better. So you could save more money, spend it on other type of players. But to get a linebacker in the first round, and Mac Wilson from Alabama, that would be my dream. Then also in the second round, to get a quarterback in Jarrett Stidham from Auburn, who's probably like third or fourth of who I would want in these quarterbacks, but to get him in the second round, still pretty good. Then a nose tackle / defensive tackle in Edwin Alexander from LSU. Obviously, guys are always big and space eaters from LSU, and Ed Orgeron's there, so they've been doing a good job developing those guys. Then Caleb McGray, he's an offensive tackle from Washington. So any of those guys, they were going to be drafted pretty high, and to get them in the fourth round would be pretty interesting. But yeah, it definitely seal up a lot of holes that the Chargers did have this year. And I'm glad that they were going offense, defense, offense, switching off. It's just a lot better than just going heavy on just one side. Then also they're asking if they should bring back Denzel Perryman, which I obviously think that they should. And because he was through an injury, he shouldn't really sign like a multi-year deal. At least for next season, it should just be a one-year deal. See whenever he could come back, and then see how he performs after that. Then give him a contract, but just never know what he's gonna want to do. Then Forrest Lamp, a guy that the Chargers, I don't want to say wasted just yet, but it could be almost, especially after this season, if he doesn't perform well or get any playing time, because it was a second round pick and he was out of Western Kentucky, which I think was a great school, but I guess his numbers were good, especially at the combine. And he just hasn't been healthy or been able to play or even start for the Chargers. He's always been inactive, and it just sucks. But and also a guy who I used to watch a lot, especially because he started the wearesc.com website, and then he did a YouTube thing, so I was watching him weekly to get USC updates from practice and interviews and stuff. And Gary Paskowitz passed away the other week, and they did a tribute to him at the basketball game. It's always tough to see when the good guys go down like that, but yes, it sucks, but hopefully he's in a better place. And my goodness, those Once Upon a Time in Hollywood pictures came out for the new Quentin Tarantino movie, which just by looking at those looks like it's already going to be awesome just because of the freaking cast. But excited about that. Excited about Christopher Nolan's movie coming out next year. So back-to-back years, we're going to get most likely great movies from great directors. So can't be much happier about that. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Try not to get as dizzy as I am, and have a great rest of your day.